Two Wheels this week, Claire looks at a new name to hit the showrooms, Hongda with a G. And we look at a new type of motorcycle tyre. Wayne has some more news from this year's Trade Expo. But first, here's Jeff with one of the very latest machines from Triumph.
Just over 12 months ago, I tested Triumph's new Sprint ST, and what a blinder it proved to be. But now we've got this, the half-faired Sprint RS. Could this be a case of less is more? Well, first impressions are good, but I admit it, I think the triple motor is absolutely brilliant in all its forms, so that does make it a bit easier. Having said that, it really is at the heart of the RS, and it suits its character to a T. Punchy, but without being wild. Mind you, with winter roads and snow in the air, it's just as well. And it doesn't look wild either. It's got the familiar almond-eyed headlamps of the Daytona and the Sprint ST, but it just stops short, just above that wonderful 108 brake horsepower motor, which incidentally is exactly the same as the Sprint ST. And so is this perimeter beam frame, exactly the same as the ST, but what isn't exactly the same is this double-sided swinging arm. Look at this, just started to slate as well. And you thought road tester's life was a glamorous one? Anyway, on with the show. Double-sided swinging arm here, different to the single-sided of the Daytona and the Sprint. And also, the back wheel is shared with the new TT600. It's lighter, so a lighter wheel, lighter swinging arm. It adds to less unsprung weight, if you can see what I mean. You don't really add to less, but there we go. While we're here, let's just have a look at this tail unit before the snow really comes down, because you've got a fair bit of storage space under here. Tools under there, but under there plenty of space for a U-lock and also your waterproofs or a spare pair of gloves. All very neat, but I'll tell you one thing they haven't got on this. There's no grab rail as standard. If you want one, it's going to cost you another 89 quid. And look at this, there's not a single bungee hook here, so if you did want to put something on this is a removable little cowl over the rear pillion seat, by the way, but if you did want to strap something on there, there's nothing to actually strap it to. You've got the pillion footrest and just the indicators. Not very clever, that Triumph. But back on the road, you can put all this behind you, literally. Although basically the same shared chassis, the rear suspension unit is slightly longer than the ST, jacking up the rear end, so slightly steepening the head angle. This sharpens the steering a touch, and coupled to nicely matched suspension makes handling and road holding an absolute peach. And given the lower, narrower bars, the whole bike feels and behaves much more like a sports bike than a sports tourer. But back to that engine. Triumph have now got fuel injection fully sorted, and throttle response is absolutely beautiful. Couple this to seamless power delivery from the torquey triple, and it really is an engine that can putter, cruise or howl along at the rider's command. 108 brake horse, a juicy 72 foot-pounds of torque, and that unique triple sound and feel. Put it all through a sweet 6-speed gearbox, and who needs a CD player? Which is just as well, because there's no room for a CD player in here. But what you have got is a brand new instrument display. Digital speedometer on the left, and also records the mileage digital, and also if you press the button long enough it'll change it into kilometres. Very, very neat for touring. Over here an analogue rev counter, but down there you do get your water temperature and also your oil level, which you can see flashing away down there. While we're up here, just looking at the top of the forks, they're both adjustable for preload. The rear suspension is adjustable for preload and rebound damping. And it's all kitted up to Triumph's famous Nissan 4-pot calipers down there and 320mm discs, so the braking is up to Triumph's normal brilliant standard. Coming back up to the bars here, front brake adjustable for span, and here comes the old snow again. And the horn works as well. And the clutch lever over here isn't adjustable for span, but it's quite a light operation, it's cable operated. Coming up to these mirrors here, they look very swoopy and very different. But looking in here, the glass just isn't big enough. So is less more? Well, more or less, yes. But it depends on what you want. If it's a tourer with sporting pretensions, go for the ST. If you want a sports bike that can double as a tourer, it's the RS. If it's priced though, at around £1,000 less, the £7,495 RS could be more than you ever hoped for. Now, I was going to tell you about all sorts of options on this, like the big sports silencer, carbon fibre job for 350 quid, grab rail for the back for £89, and all sorts of bits and pieces. But I tell you what, as this snow is now coming in really heavy, go and get yourself a catalogue. I'm off.
Now, about 40 years ago, the Japanese started exporting bikes into this country, some of them loosely based on British designs, and now the Chinese have started to copy them. So, Tim, this is one of the bikes come in from China, a Lifan. What is it?
A Lifan. It is. It's a low spec 125 4-stroke commuter bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little word down there, Hongda, coming out there quite strongly.
With a G.
With a G, emphasis on the G.
Emphasise the G. Yeah, the Japanese started by copying British designs to a degree and then improving on what they'd basically stolen from other sources. Whereas now the Chinese are doing it to the Japanese.
Now, you mentioned before it's slightly lower specification. In what ways it's slightly lower specification?
It's not so much that it's lower specification, it's low tech.
Right.
It's built to a price. It's obviously cheaper than a Japanese equivalent. A 125 4-stroke Japanese motorbike, like the SR125, is around £2,200. These Lifan 125 single-cylinder 4-stroke commuter bike, electric start, similar sort of specifications to the SR, are nearly £1,000 cheaper. So basically, what you're getting is brand new bikes for second-hand prices. So, you know.
So possibly there may be a market for them then, you never know. Watch this space, as you said before.
Yeah, there's a market for everything.
Absolutely, Tim. Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
Cylinder heads and barrels, performance carburettors, loads of bolt-on bits and pieces. Here, let me show you what's on this stand. This is quite impressive, this. This is bits and pieces for your scooters and mopeds. So you can upgrade and make some extra performance out of your restricted scooter when you become 17. You've got stuff like these, which are performance clutch units. You've got different pulleys and belts to put on to increase your performance. Shock absorbers, well, they're posed because you can see them, they're not covered up. You've got such as these, performance exhausts. Some of them look fairly stylish and some of them look fairly racy. I mean, these look really impressive and I would imagine perform very well indeed. They think of everything. Look at that, a flipping clear casing cover. But then again, you want to show off your performance bits underneath it. God, what were they thinking next? Hey, just go round there, I want to show you something. Go on. Come here, son. Look at that, eh? Now, plenty of people have wanted a helmet like that. It used to be when it was under the banner, Simpson, but you could never have one because they were never legal. In fact, this particular brand, Craft, these would have been available of recent, but not legal, not BSI approved. But they are now, and they're available as we speak. That will cost you £190, but not with a black visor, of course. And it is indeed BSI and ACU approved, eh? But it doesn't stop at that, oh no, sir. You see, these have come through a new company called Motivation, who are distributing these and various different models, very stylish stuff like that, with anti-fog visors, demisting pieces in them, removable and washable liners, everything. Carbon fibre, look at that. Street fighters eat your heart out. And the creme de la creme is a mean looking dude, just like that. Carbon fibre, blending neatly into a nice metallic paint job. Suit shoes, sir. See you later then.
Hey, where are you going?
Boy, this is a big one, isn't it? It's a big one with an awful lot of accessories bolted onto it. In fact, every conceivable chrome accessory you can think of to bolt onto your custom cruiser is done by these guys, Highway Hawk. They've displayed all their wares here on a beautiful display stand, all glistening because it's all fancy chrome work. So the dealer can come along and order these to stick in his showroom. I tell you what, there's some serious polishing going to have to be done in winter months on this sort of thing. But now, look at this. Now this is seriously impressive, isn't it, eh? Yes. This has been created by the Highway Hawk designer. Tasty stuff. Anyway, I'm going to have a look round. Well, you can stay here and have a look at this if you want. Hello, hello, I'm over here. Hello. Never mind them guys over there having the lunch. What about me? I'll have my lunch in a second. MQP, Motor Quality Products. Another one of the European bunch. And they've come over here to show us some of their wares, and they've got some good ideas. One in particular that noticed this, a green anorak. A protective jacket to wear on its own or over your leathers if you wish. 100% waterproof, with some body protection in it as well. Detachable liner, 120 quid. Not half bad. Another good idea. Look at this, a racing style glove. Looks just the part, but it's got alloy insulation and a waterproof liner. You get the best of every world there for winter or summer use. Green, we're back with the old green again. We've got the green boot. 120 quid worth of racing style boot. But the difference is, again, waterproof to cover every form of climate. Would you believe it? Green, yet again, for you Kawasaki boys out there. A racing style suit with all the appearance of a racing suit, but two-piece. Available in one piece as well, and available in a multitude of colours. 400 quid. This is the one-piece version. They've certainly got some good ideas, I think fairly good value for money. And what they've done, even though they've got parameters right from the lowest cost right to the highest cost, they do everything with about a £10 interval. So something to suit everybody's pocket. I wonder what size this jacket is. I wonder if it would fit me.
Well, it's very tempting, but I won't make any comments about jackets to fit Wayne. But he'll be back after the break with even more from this year's Trade Expo. And I'll be looking at a brand new type of motorcycle tyre. What would you think affects the handling of your motorcycle the most? Suspension setup, change the suspension, it'll change the way it feels on the road, that's true. But probably the single most important thing is the bit that keeps you in contact with the tarmac, the tyres. Change the tyres and you can change the way a bike feels completely. So when a brand new tyre and a new type of tyre technology comes along, it's got to be worth a look. And here's a brand new tyre, a brand new name, and Bill, you know all about these, Concorde Tyres. I've never heard of them. Where did they come from?
Well, it's a new innovation. Originally, believe it or not, it started by a man in Ireland, a wholesale tyre dealer, who thought about this. Why could they do retreads for cars and not for motorcycles? Now, with his son being involved in the racing fraternity,
Yes,
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can we carry on with that?
Yeah, go on.
He got involved with another mate of his who was in the tyre tread industry, and between them, they've had intense 2 years of testing to get the compound right. Yeah. And when they were satisfied, they then passed it over to the Motorcycle News, who went out and gave it a thorough testing, tried it on road, track, motorways, A roads, B roads, C roads, any goddamn roads you want, they've done it.
And rated it very highly. Yeah.
Very highly indeed.
Right, now you used the word retread there. I mean, I remember years, is that the same as remould? Is it the same sort of thing?
Same sort of
Because years ago, I remember years ago when I had cars, and many people when they had cars, and we had no money, we used to buy remold tyres. But they always said, you've got remold tyres, 50 mile an hour, that's your lot. Don't go any quicker because it'll unwrap itself. Well, that's no use on a motorcycle, so why can we go fast on these?
Well, that is a myth now about them on unwrapping themselves.
Is it?
These tyres are tested to over 256 kilometres per hour, which in English is over 160 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And they're the best that there is. They compare with all the other leading brands that are available. There's only 5 types of tyre you can buy. Yeah. There's Michelin, Avon, Dunlop, etc.
Yeah, Bridgestone, Pirelli. They're probably the 5 that would spring to mind if you're thinking about bike tyres.
Yes.
Now we've got this new name, Concorde.
This is a name that you're going to see about a lot.
Right, but you see, you've said it's a retread. So if it's a retread, it must have started life as something else.
Yes, it started as a carcass.
Right, of what? A sort of a Bridgestone,
It
a
could,
Dunlop,
it could
whatever?
be a Bridgestone, could be a Michelin, etc.
Right.
But it is then inspected thoroughly,
Yeah.
stripped of all its material,
Yeah.
then stripped again, and then the process starts.
Right.
It's, without getting too technical, Paul, it's a simple but
Simple but very complicated.
complicated, yeah.
Right.
It's called Fusionite compound technology, which means they apply new rubber to it.
Right.
Once the new rubber's been applied, it goes in a mould which is compressed and puts this tread pattern on.
Right.
We've only got it in one tread pattern at present, but it can be changed.
Right, okay.
And then obviously when that's done, it's out, it's tested.
Right. If that started life as, let's say it started life as a Dunlop, that was a Dunlop carcass and it's been retreaded now and it's now called a Concorde tyre, right?
Yep.
Is it true then that you could then get, say, a Bridgestone carcass, retread that as one of these, it could react differently? Are you going to use the same carcass for everything?
Yes, in essence
Right.
that's it. We've got to use the same carcass because your riding characteristics may be different to somebody else's.
Yeah.
And if you want to remain on Concorde, you want the tyre to act the same every time.
Yeah, it's got to be
And
consistent.
if we
hasn't it?
stay with the same carcass, we can't go wrong.
Right.
It's as easy as falling off a log.
These are all sizes you've got around the place, mainly sports bike type tyres. Are they all one compound at the moment?
All one compound, yes.
Right, okay. What about prices then? Because let's see this one here that I've been fondling. I'm into rubber, you see.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I've got this bit of a fetish, I think. This one, a 190, that would fit an R1 or a Fireblade?
Yes,
right,
that's
same
the one.
size. So that, I know that to buy in a shop, well, the retail is about 190 quid, although I know that you'll get that off a dealer for probably about 150. So what's the equivalent? What's this one?
Well, my recommended retail price for this tyre is £105. Now, I'm not saying that you won't be able to get it cheaper because there's always somebody that wants to go in lower.
So that's 2/3 the price.
That's correct, yeah.
That's not bad, is it? How long do they last? I mean, do you know? I mean, because they're brand new, I mean, everyone rates them.
They will last as long as your other makes of tyres,
Right.
and it's been proven.
Right. And they're going to be available in what, all sizes or?
At present, just the most popular sports bike sizes.
Right.
If the demand becomes great, then we'll do them in every size.
So, right.
It's as simple as that.
Watch this space, it's going to explode, is it? Right.
It is. At present, I've got a stunt rider using these.
Yeah.
An up and becoming
Neil
new
Porter, I
That's the
believe.
guy,
I
yeah,
know Neil.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've also got a guy from New Zealand
Yeah.
that's so confident in these that he's going to go to the Isle of Man with them for the TT.
Wow.
So, what can you say?
Well, that's a good recommendation. You know, the only way for me, I mean, I'm convinced that they're probably all right. They look great and everything. The only way to try them really is to stick them on a bike.
Look, Paul,
So-
take that, take a front, and you test them, mate, and come back to me, and you'll be highly delighted.
I hope I will. You know, I knew he'd say that if I asked
Yeah.
him nicely. Cheers,
Yeah, not
Bill.
a problem, anytime.
Fantastic.
Now, I mentioned this company before to you guys out there, if you've been watching that is, over the last few years, because Revit is a name that is pretty high on the old clothing stakes. In fact, I've been over to Holland and seen the guys over there, and they've introduced us to all sorts of new products. But the thing about them, the different thing about them is, if you were a wholesaler, normally you have to bring the stuff in from another country, put it into stock, maybe not judge exactly what you need, and then stick it onto the dealer's shelves. It's a gamble, might get it wrong, might not have enough stock. Well, these guys do it a little differently because Revit have a distribution base here in England, so the dealer can order it off Revit. If they haven't got it in stock, they just get it from Holland. So you've got a second bite at the cherry. So there's every chance that if you see something you fancy and they haven't got it in the colour you want, it will come fairly quickly and you haven't got a long time to wait. But it's not just leathers and coloured gear that they do everything, including obviously all the gloves that go with the stuff you fancy, body belts and all sorts, tightens up, keeps the midriff in, you know. And this is nice. This is a lightweight jacket, but with full thermal insulation and everything. And what I like about it is, it's got all the properties you need for protection against the elements, and if you fall off, God forbid, including body protection. And all their gear comes with the whole range of Knox body protection. But more importantly, it looks like a regular stylish jacket. So when you're not on your bike, it doesn't look like you're a biker. Sometimes you don't necessarily want to be so. That looks quite plain and quite normal, and it's 180 quid's worth, which is damn good value for money. But back to the leather gear. Another point with the leather gear. This is a very nice suit, but it's not really a suit. It's a combination, jeans and jacket, but you can buy them separately. Not only can you buy them separately in one general size. You can buy it individually sized. So if you're a little bit vertically challenged, such as I, and you've got short legs and a little bit of a tum, you can buy 2 different sizes, where normally you have to buy 1 complete suit. If you're perhaps a lady, tall and slim and got long legs, you can buy a long leg version, short leg version, and a bit in the middle, a medium leg version. You can buy big fat jackets if you're big up top or whatever. So a bit of mix and match, and that's quite a rarity, I can tell you. And that is less than 500 quid, around £480, a damn good value for money. Now it means really that you don't have to be made to measure. Talking about made to measure, let's see if someone could perhaps just measure me inside leg. Won't be a sec. So, you know, it's difficult, this job, you know, carrying all this gear. I should have a Man Friday with me. Impressive stuff, this. These guys, Cameron Luggage, do big uns and little uns. They do a little bum bag that you zip out and expand into a rucksack. Not a bad idea. Take it away with you small, buy some goods while you're away on your holidays, stick a whole load of gear in it. When they do anything as simple as a pair of panniers, they have some clever ideas. There's foil in there. So the exhaust heat, not necessarily the exhaust, because of course they're far too hot to touch, but the heat off the exhaust, that might be a few inches away, will not affect the goods inside or damage the pannier. Look at that, a serious rucksack, nice padded back piece here, easy to carry handles, over your shoulder, whatever, fasten it to you. And then when you're not with your bike, helmet bag to fasten to the actual rucksack as well. They do the usual range of magnetic tank bags and seat bags, you name it, they do it. So next time you're hunting for some soft luggage, check out some of this Cameron gear.
And on Two Wheels next week, I travel all the way to Italy, the home of the scooter, for the launch of a brand new machine from Piaggio.